Hello everyone, I am here to discuss about lesson 9, which is pay structure decision. So in this topic, I will tackle about how an organization decides on paying their employees. So let's start. Pay. Pay is the reward that you acquired for doing a specific job or work. Pay level decision can be classified into two, which are the pay structure and individual pay. However, this lesson will only cover the pay structure. Pay structure, it entails a consideration of pay level and job structure. It helps a company to offer equitable and competitive salaries to make employees' path grow. Pay level, it is the average pay such as wages, salaries, and bonuses in an organization. Job structure, it refers to the relative pay of jobs in organization considering the same two jobs in two different organizations. For example, the salary or pay of an accountant in company A is 30,000 while the accountant in company B has a salary of 40,000, which is greater compared to the other one. Topic 1, Equity Theory and Fairness. This theory suggests that people evaluate fairness and their situations by comparing them to others. According to this theory, a person compares his or her own ratio of perceived outcomes to perceived inputs to the ratio of comparison. This is the formula of this theory. OP over IP is greater than or less than or equal to OO over IO. P is equal to person, I equals to input such as efforts, hard work, and so on. Capital O equals outcomes such as salaries, benefits, and perks. Lastly, small letter o equals other worker. Let's have an example. An employee works about 60 hours per week and receives about 15,000 in pay, while his coworker works about 40 hours per week and receives a pay of 20,000. Computation, OP equals 15,000, IP equals 60, OO equals 20K, and IO equals 40. 15,000 over 60 is equal to 250, while 20,000 over 40 is equal to 500. 250 is less than 500. As you can see on the table, if the person's ratio is less than compared to other, then it is called under reward inequity. If it's greater, then over reward inequity, and if it's the same, then it is just simply equity. When an individual experiences tension or distress due to inequity, they will do something to reduce that tension or some ways to restore equity. First, reducing one's own input or not working too hard. Increasing one's outcomes such as asking for pay increase or theft. And leaving the situation and generates perceived inequity such as leaving the organization or refusing to cooperate with the other employee who are perceived as overrewarded. Two types of employee social comparison pay. First, external equity refers to the comparison of pay between an employee and those outside of the company with the same job or position. It focuses on what employees in other organizations are getting paid for doing the same job. Internal equity, it focuses on what employees within the same organization but different jobs are paid. Topic 2, developing pay levels. Under this, we have market pressures. So, these are the pressures that a company experience in the market. When we say market, we have two meanings of that or of it. First, it is where the trading of products or services happens, and the second one is the person or your target customer that has the ability and desire to buy a certain product or buy your product. Under the market pressure, we have product market competition. So here, different organization competes to each other when it comes to product dimensions such as price, service, and quality to reach the satisfaction of the customer and have them return of investment. Example, your competitor offers the same product as you, but the difference is that they are superior when it comes to the quality. But the price is quite a lot expensive compared to yours. So, some people prefers the cheaper one for some reasons. So, they will choose to buy your product since it is much more cheaper. Labor market. An organization must balance the number of workers and jobs available for the organization run efficiently, and also to use the maximum potential of workers and maximize the resources. Employee as a resource. Your employee is one of the main important asset in your company. And if you will compete to the market, then you must train or level up or enhance their skill set for them to return the favor and win the competition in the market. Deciding what to pay. It can be below or above the average pay. Deciding what to pay on your employees depending on their performance or skills will give your organization an ability to attract talented employees to your company, since they know the higher your experience are, the higher the pay for them. However, the disadvantage of it in your organization is that the cost will be higher. Market pay survey. It is an approach or tool for the managers and remuneration specialists to compile market pay data for a lot of jobs in the market. This is usually performed in order to assess the effectiveness of companies' pay structure and practices. Benchmarking. It is what an organization uses to do the survey. Benchmarking is a procedure where an organization compares its own practices. The point of it is to identify the internal opportunities for improvements. The use of pay surveys requires to answer several questions. For example, which employer should be included in the survey? Second is, which job are included in the survey? If multiple surveys are used, how are all rates of pay weighted and combined? Rate ranges. It permits a company to identify the employee's performance, seniority, training, experience, and education for them to know how much they will pay for that individual. Key jobs and non-key jobs. Key jobs, those are the common jobs in an organization. For example, an accountant, computer tech, engineer tech, and so on. While the non-key jobs are the jobs that are unique or different or doesn't have in other organization, such as industrial engineer, compensation analyst, chief scientist, and so on. Developing a job structure. We all know that job structure is the comparison of pay of employee in different organization and having the same job position. But it can also be an internal comparison. For example, the vice president of marketing expected to be paid the same amount as the vice president of information system, since they have the same organization level. Job evaluation. It is a way of evaluating by determining the values or worth depending on the organization values and chooses to pay for. And it is an administrative procedure used to measure internal job worth. For example, they value the seniority, experience, and education on the employees. So those compensable factors will have an impact to the pay of the employees. 3-point factor system. After generating scores for each compensable factors on each job evaluators often apply a weighing scheme to account for a differing importance of the compensable factors to the organization. Weights can be generated in two ways. First, a priori weights can be assigned, which means factors are weighted using expert judgment about the importance of each compensable factor. Second is, weights can be derived empirically based on how important each factor system in determining pay in the labor market. So basically, it is a systematic method for determining a relative score for a job. Jobs can be bundled into grades, and then grades used to determine pay. Developing pay structure. Developing a pay structure involves evaluating jobs and establishing associated salary ranges and grades based on the market data and Okamari's compensation policy. So it involves a collection of wage grades, levels, or bands that link related jobs within a hierarchy or series, providing a framework to implement a reward strategies and policies. Here's the example of three-factor job evaluating system. These are the compensable factors, and they grade each job titles based on the factors they have. Table 9.2 shows the job evaluation and pay survey data. Next, market survey data. The approach with the greatest emphasis on external comparison is achieved by directly basing pay on market surveys that covers as many key jobs as possible. Non-key jobs are not present or the information are not available. In order to present information for non-key jobs, they used pay policy line. Pay policy line, it is an approach that combines information from external and internal comparison to derive pay rates for both key and non-key jobs. Third approach called pay grade. The purpose of it is to group jobs into smaller number of pay classes, pay ranges, or pay grades. The use of it is to give pay based on the individual but on overall grade or class depends on their level in the organization. Topic 3. The importance of process, participation, and communication. Participation should involve those who will manage and be affected by the process. It includes recommending, designing, and communicating a pay program. The effect of communication is to impact employees' perception of equity. Managers must be prepared to explain why the pay structure is designed the way it is and to judge whether changes should be made to the structure. Topic 4. Challenges. Problems with job-based structures. They may encourage bureaucracy. The structure's hierarchical nature reinforces a top-down decision-making and information flow, as well as status differentials. The bureaucracy required to generate and update job description and job evaluations can become a barrier to change. The job-based structure may not reward desired behaviors. Emphasis on job levels and status differentials encourages promotion-seeking behavior but may discourage lateral employee movement. Responses to those problems. Delayering and banding. It is a process of reducing the number of different levels of staff in a company or organization. Examples of pay bands are banding. As you can see in the traditional structure, traditional structure has different job titles or job level, such as senior engineer, engineer 2 and 1. And on the banded structure, they combine the engineer 2 and 1 together. Paying the person, pay for skill, knowledge, and competency. Competency-based, the idea of it is that if you want employees to learn more skills and be flexible in jobs, you should pay them to do it. And the second one is skill-based pay. So based on the name of it, the pay should be based on the employee's talent and skills. And that's all. Thank you.